Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we are back on the update groundbreaking dev server, and it's time to have a look at the HMS Marlborough. This is a new battleship which is coming in for the British in updates groundbreaking, and it is definitely setting a new standard when it comes to battleships. This thing has 13.5-inch guns, which are pretty big. You know, we already have some pretty big guns in the game. When it comes to the Hyuga, this machine here with the 360mm guns, but the British so far with the Dreadnought and the Colossus, and also the Invincible, had the 12-inch guns, at least on some of them, and the 305s on the Dreadnought. So this really ups it for the British when it comes to its main caliber armament. It has 5 sets of dual-mounted 13.5-inch guns, 2 on the back, 2 on the front, and then 1 in the center. And because of how these are placed, if you are going to broadside, you can get all of the guns on target at once, which is absolutely wonderful. At the same time, it is backed up by some other armaments, so 6 6-inch guns on each side of it, 12 overall. You can see them, 5 of them in this blister here, and then 5 over here too. So that is really awesome. Then also it has 2 4-inch guns and 2 76 cannons. So you can see the 4-inch guns here, and you can see the extra 6-inch guns here in the blisters. The main issue with this thing is, once again, it's a battleship that doesn't really have any AA on it, so it's still going to be susceptible to being bombed and torpedoed by aircraft, but it is going to be pretty useful at dealing out damage against other ships because of its large guns. The other thing that is pretty impressive about this machine is its armor layout. It has a belt of 304.8mm, then 228 on it, and also the coal bunkers, which are going to give it way more protection to the central area where the engines are. That was one of the largest changes to the armor profiles they made recently when it comes to the machines. Then we have the engines in the center there, this massive 2 sets of smoke funnels as well, obviously all of the transmissions at the back, and huge ammo racks for these 13.5-inch guns, so these will definitely pop. It also has access to some torpedoes, 20 of them, but they're in the same fashion that you see in a lot of these First World War battleships, where they just fire straight from this area, so you know it's going to be quite hard to use them. There's 2 on the front, and then there's 2 on the back here, so they're not going to be that useful. They'll kind of be there just to maybe annoy people slightly. And then it does also have the fire director here, but the fire director doesn't actually have 100% accuracy. It's only at 85%, and you can see the fire solution calculation time, 30 seconds. That's pretty long for a machine, and then 18 seconds for an update. So it's going to take a while to get these guns on target. It does have a tiny rangefinder here as well, which is very hard to get the mouse over because it's so small. But you can see here the rangefinder is for the 6 and 4-inch guns, and once again 85% accuracy on those. This thing has 1180 crew members, so we'll get a lot of survivability from that, and also can canter at 47 kilometers an hour in arcade, and it is a displacement of 31,000 tons. It's a big kahuna, and as you can already see, its max repair cost is 37,000 SL, at least on the dev server. Remember, those things change quite a lot. Not a surprise, seeing how this thing is going to be very, very hard to kill. Now, when it comes to its main guns, the 343mm guns, it has access to HE, APC, and also SAP. Now, the HE has 80 kilos of explosive mass in it, which is incredibly strong, and also decent pen of nearly 100 across the board. Then you have APC, which pens 541, 422, 200, and still has 20 kilos of explosive mass. The SAP itself has an explosive mass of 53 kilos with a pen of 293, 255, 126, so this is pretty good intermediary damage and also penetration. The 152 millimeters on the sides of it do get an SAP round, which pens 118, 104, 50, and also starts with a HE, which should be good at dealing damage to stuff with a lot lighter armor. Doesn't really get access to anything else though. Obviously has the improved rangefinder. So when you don't have that, it will be even less accurate. And the torpedoes don't get an upgrade, but they do have an okay travel distance. 7.3 kilometers compared to a lot of other machines that we have in game isn't actually that bad, but still won't be too useful. I feel a lot of people are just gonna not take the torpedoes and just deal with the guns. So with the Marlborough, this sets a new standard for the British Navy in War Thunder, and also shows the next step when it comes to the naval stuff in general. We've already seen a teaser for a Japanese ship, which is going to be very similar to the Marlborough, if not slightly better. Whether it comes out in this update or not, we'll have to see. But at the end of the day, we know these things are coming. It is just one of those eventualities. And with the Marlborough here, I wouldn't be surprised to see something which looks like other nations getting something similar, especially the Japanese and even the US. Just to give you an idea of the firepower on these things, and just to show what the secondaries can do, you obviously are very limited, as I said, in the AA armament. But when it comes to its 152s over here, they're going to be able to one-tap smaller machines and others. And just to give you an inkling on the amount of damage this can do, obviously this is on an Anton Schmidt, so you're not really going to face this that much. There are the main guns firing, and we can just show you how much damage, if they actually hit, it can do. Yeah. There you go. So that thing's just dead. It's just gone. Goodbye. Obviously, being a battleship, this thing has, a pretty decent reload on it. It's going to be one of those things which takes an age to reload, but it's completely fine at the end of the day to wait for that stuff. If it had a shorter reload, it would be all broken as all hell. So thank God it has the long sets. You can, sequential fire with it. The reload is 40 seconds, so you can kind of wait for the rangefinder to go in and then, fire the rounds. It won't be too bad. You can see we've just 60%ed that light cruiser just from one set of rounds with the HE, remember, so that just went straight in and just annihilated it. Obviously against this machine it's not going to be as good, but it will still do a ton of damage. This thing will mainly fight battleships, and with the guns that it has, it'll be able to ammo rack them, it'll be able to punch through a ton of the armor and do a bunch of damage. And even in its stock configuration with HE, it's going to cause a lot of fires, it's going to cause a lot of damage, just because of the explosive mass which is on this machine. I feel like there's going to be a lot of these which come out, and thank God, by the way, as you can see, without even the AP, you can just see the fires that it's caused and just the damage that it's caused on that vehicle there just by existing. Thank God they upped the BRs of naval. Oh my God. Thank God they upped the BRs of naval to the 6.7. Otherwise, machines like this could have seen 5.0 machines. Can you imagine? It would just annihilate them in one hit. We just one-tapped that heavy cruiser, right? Now, as I said, thank God this thing will fight more battleships and dreadnoughts, but it will still do a ton of damage to them. And with the AP, or with the SAP, whichever one comes out on top, it will be able to ammo rack, it will be able to do a metric ton of damage. And expect way more machines like this in the future. This is going to be the next step when it comes to naval warfare in War Thunder. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Professor X 1718, Orangetail, Sakoshi Tiger, BRFC 15, Teddy, John Ryman, Universe A, Eugens Terry, Ambrosius McClellan, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, and then Kyle Kin, Barine, Lafouche, and also Samuel Slick for supporting the channel.